1 year ago, the Nobel Prize-winning economist Joseph Stiglitz stated that he did not think it would be possible for Africa to follow Asia's model of economic development. Yet we in Africa feel energized by China's rise. When the CFTA was ratified a few months ago, countries were given 1 year to prepare themselves for full implementation of the agreement. There is a lot more we can learn from studying China's one country, two systems relationship with Hong Kong as we prepare to reintegrate Balkanized Africa.
China's ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Xin Tingwang, speaking at a seminar organized by the IEA in collaboration with the Chinese embassy, noted China's contribution to Africa's development.
Most of you came from Africa. I believe that you know better more than I do that China has made a great contribution to Africa's development, and China's participation is indispensable for Africa.
For several months now, violent protests have rocked the city-state, jeopardizing its reputation as a leading global financial, trade and shipping hub. Opening the two-day seminar in Accra, Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Honorable Shirley Botry, reiterated Ghana's position on Hong Kong.
One of the cardinal principles of Ghana's foreign policy is respect for the right of self-determination of peoples. At the same time, we believe in non-interference in the affairs of sovereign states. We also believe in the peaceful resolution of disputes within and among sovereign entities. While one cannot deny the geopolitical dimension or significance of the crisis in Hong Kong, especially considering the ongoing trade war with the United States, the fact remains that Africa's prosperity is closely linked with China's peace and stability.
Hong Kong became a special administrative region in 1997 after Britain ceded the territory to China. During 150 years as a colony, Hong Kong was ruled by 28 governors appointed by the British Queen. Since 1997, it has been run by a chief executive under the One Country, Two Systems policy, allowing it to remain one of the freest economies in the world.
After the handover of Hong Kong in 1997, Hong Kong residents enjoyed more democratic rights and freedom than any other time in history. The central government implemented one-country systems in Hong Kong. That is, to allow Hong Kong to retain its capitalist system. Under the one-country, two systems policy, Hong Kong has achieved unprecedented development. It has not only enhanced its position as an international financial, trade and shipping center, but also doubled its GDP.
For years, people have talked about the rising of China and what China has been doing successfully and so on. So the purpose of this meeting for us was to have Chinese scholars and then African scholars together to chat and exchange ideas, and also to find out what exactly China has been doing that has made them so successful, and what can we learn from them.
Hong Kong is one of the main drivers of China's prosperity. By extension, the economies of many African states, including Ghana, continue to benefit greatly from their trade with China, as well as massive investments in infrastructure. Ghana has long nursed an aspiration to become a trade and industrial hub in West Africa. This could be modeled on Hong Kong. Hopefully, the choice of our country to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area could make us achieve that vision in West Africa.
To increase understanding of the Hong Kong SAR situation, China sent 3 experts to address the Accra seminar, which was attended by policymakers, ambassadors, academia, representatives of political parties, media partners, and development partners. It also attracted participants from Guinea, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe.
Some foreign countries would like you to use Hong Kong as a pretext to destabilizing China, to stabilizing Hong Kong. And so for which we cannot be able to tolerate. We strongly oppose any foreign countries to interfere the internal affairs of China as well as internal affairs of Hong Kong.
There is ample evidence of outside interference or foreign interference in Hong Kong's affairs. This is why the riots and the chaos in Hong Kong have lasted for such a long time, although the Hong Kong SAR government has officially withdrawn the amendments.
As explained by Ambassador Zhu, the protests were sparked by mainland China's attempts to amend the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance after a Hong Kong resident allegedly murdered his pregnant girlfriend in February 2018 in Taiwan and fled back to Hong Kong. The amendment was suspended on 15th June, yet the violent demonstrations have continued.
The young ones who are demonstrating in Hong Kong, they are a new generation. They did not see what mainland China and Hong Kong went through. So they are a new generation, and they are getting whispers in their ears that democracy is good. They go to UK, they go to America, they watch the films, and they think that all that glitters is good. In actual fact, it doesn't fit China.
Chinese experts that were brought didn't take anything for granted. They did not assume that because they had an African audience, it meant that we didn't know anything at all about China-Hong Kong relations. You could tell that they are very concerned about what we see in what they call the Western media. And they are worried enough to want to put their viewpoint across.
For some of the audience, some of the guests today, they do have a deeply influenced by the Western media, which is do have let's say double standard, and do choose to say some of the facts which happened in Hong Kong. Let's say that's not all of that, which is leading to a peaceful protest. But as we can see from my presentation and from the documentary film we're showing today, it's quite violent. And those meaningless violence which is leading nowhere politically, but only brings the damage and hurting Hong Kong society and also economically. I think that's a great threat to Hong Kong itself, and also in the future maybe the Chinese national security and the unification of the whole country.
What's your forecast of what we will find? We will find a more continued protests by young men and women in masks and hurling petrol bombs. Or two, we will see the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, in the streets of Hong Kong. They give the protesters the Tiananmen treatment and maybe send the survivors across for re-education.
What happens to China is of interest to us. If China rises, definitely we want to know how it's going to do it and the impact on us. I don't want to say we rise and fall with China, but definitely our strings are tied to China as well.